Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Kara More Toma Vina Ke Dayalu Jagata Samsare
Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Kara More Toma Vina Ke Dayalu Jagata Samsare
Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Kara More Toma Vina Ke Dayalu Jagata Samsare
Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Kara More Toma Vina Ke Dayalu Jagata Samsare
Atita Pavana Hetu Kavaravatara Osamopatita Prabhu Napa
Atita Pavana Hetu Kavavatara Asamapatita Prabhu
Atita Pavana Hetu Kavaravatara Osam Jaya Kara Sita Pati Advaita Gosai Tava Kripa Balepai Chaitanya Nitai Swaro Sanatana Rupa Raghunatha Bhatta Yoga Sri Jiva Prabhu Lokanatha Swaro Sanatana Rupa Raghunatha Bhatta Yoga Sri Jiva Prabhu Lokanatha about the song. We'll give the type of translation. It's quite a famous song. It's sung in the mornings in a number of ISKCON temples, particularly temples that have Gaunitai deities as the main deities on their altars. Yes, like in Johannesburg, we sing that song. We sung that song every morning after Srila Prabhupada's Guru Puja. Toma vina ke dayalu jagata samsare. Other than you, Toma vina ke dayalu, who can be merciful within this material world? Only Lord Chaitanya, Patita Pavan. He's the only one who can really be merciful. This at least is what Srila Narottam Das Thakur is saying. And then the next verse, Patita Pavana Hetu, Tava Avatar. You are Patita Pavan, you're the deliverer of the fallen souls. Patita Pavana Hetu, Tava Avatar. That is the cause for your appearance, to deliver the fallen souls. And Mo Samo Patita Prabhu, Na Paibeya, and me, I'm the most fallen. You just won't be able to find a more fallen person within this material world. Haha Prabhu Nityananda, Premananda Sukhi. Oh my dear Lord Nityananda, you are just completely overwhelmed in the happiness and the ecstasy of Krishna Prema, of love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Kripa Balo Kanakoro. So please be merciful to me. Same sort of idea, basically. Daya Koro, literally, make mercy. Do mercy, because by your mercy, you called for Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda to appear within this material world. So you're very merciful. You can be merciful to me too. And then, of course, well, Haha Swarup Sanatan, referring to the six Goswamis, Srila Rupa Sanatan, and Gopal Bhatta, Raghunath Das, the six Goswamis of Vrindavan, Jiva, and Swarup Damodar Goswami, and Lokanath Goswami. They're all associated, of course, deeply connected to Lord Chaitanya. And he doesn't say Kripa Koro, Daya Koro, but ha means oh. He's appealing. They were contemporaries and friends, and you could say sort of like colleagues, transcendental colleagues. They were working together to spread the movement of Lord Chaitanya and the writings of the Goswamis. So you please be merciful to me. And what sort of mercy do I want from you? If you can, please, let me have the association of your leading disciple, Ramachandra Kaviraj. If you can, please let me have his association. That would just be very great mercy on your part. So it's a really amazing song, really wonderful song. It's from the collection called Prarthana. It's not the first song. First song is Toma Vina, except for you. Ke Dayalu, who can be merciful? Jagata Samsara. You're the, of course, in the next verse, Ahas Marup Sanata, Prabhu Nityananda, Premananda Sukhi, you're just always ecstatic in love of God. So, Kripa Koro, kind of, so you please be merciful to me too. But it seems like a type of transcendental contradiction, because Lord Chaitanya is the only one, he already sang, who can be merciful. Toma Vina, Ke Dayalu, in this world of birth and death. But now, here's Lord Nityananda, he can also be merciful. And then Advaita Acharya, Daya Koro, Sri Acharya, you can also be merciful. Please be merciful to me. And then the 6 Goswamis and the other devotees mention Swarup Damodar Lokanath Goswami. In effect, what he's saying is, you also please be merciful. And then Srinivasa Acharya, you also be merciful. So what does it mean? How can they all be merciful if the only one who can be merciful is Lord Chaitanya in this world? So of course the thing is that the others mentioned, Lord Nityananda and Advaita Acharya, the Goswamis, etc., they're not like independently merciful. They're carrying the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. They're transparent via mediums for the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. So it's not actually a contradiction at all. It's very nice. It really enriches our appreciation for Lord Chaitanya himself and for all of those great personalities mentioned. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Merci. Merci beaucoup. Very merciful. So this is very nice. This is really very nice. That there's so much mercy around, and the root is Lord Chaitanya. He's the source, but all the others are carrying his mercy, and in that way helping so many deeply conditioned souls. It's really amazing. And of course, the mercy goes on. You know, it's plus or minus 500 years or so since that time of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, and so on. But the mercy keeps flowing. That's parampara, that's the disciplic succession. Mercy keeps flowing. Lord Chaitanya's mercy keeps flowing. And of course in our cases, and everybody in the sort of current period and recent past and so on like that, the mercy is flowing through Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is that transparent via medium for Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, and Advaita Acharya, and the others mentioned. So, of course, we should sing songs like this, where appeals are being made for mercy, but we must also remember that our connection is via Srila Prabhupada. Vital connection. Yes, just like Srinivasa Acharya, he and Narottam Das Thakur were sort of like colleagues, contemporaries, took a whole collection of books handwritten by the six Goswamis. They took them from Vrindavan, they took them down into Navadvip Dham, and then they were copied and distributed all around Bengal and northern Orissa also. And it was really a very amazing thing. It's the first traveling Sankirtan or traveling book distribution party, traveling Sankirtan party doing book distribution. And they're just really amazing descriptions. How they had a bullock cart, big bullock cart, and they were loading like one copy each of the various books, of so many books, of particularly the six Goswamis themselves. And as they were loading, the person loading, or the people, the devotees loading, they'd look and see, what book is this? Ah, this is Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. All the devotees from the Vrindavan area, they were all gathered there, like a whole crowd of them, great devotees. So the devotee or devotees loading the wagon would hold the book up and show everyone, look, and call out the name, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And everyone was just, Haribol, 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 just in ecstasy. As the books were loaded, one by one, generally one copy of each. And then when the loading was done, then they set off. They set off. But along the way, I mean, it's a bit of a long story. It's a long story. But along the way, they passed through the area of one sort of local king. I mean, it was not like a king with an empire, but he had some local area he was overseeing and controlling. His name was, I think, was it Hamvir? Virhamvir. Virhamvir. And he was a case. He was a case. Yeah. And he had, interesting, he had an advisor. He had, of course, a group of advisors, but he had one advisor who had some, it seems, some mystical powers. Not just like some people, we won't mention any names, but with curly hair, who could produce a few ashes. I don't know what ashes are worth, really. But anyway, famous for doing that. But this man, it seems, he really had mystical powers. And so he told the king, Virhamvir, that yes, my dear king, there is a group of men passing through your area, your sort of little kingdom, and they have a like a cargo. They have this whole big ox cart full of, I'm trying to figure out what it is. It's difficult, but whatever it is, it's really valuable. Maybe it's gold and jewels and things like that. So you know what? We should just get it. You should get it. And don't worry about these people there. It's just a small group. So we'll just take it. So they did. They took the cart full of the books. They didn't open up the cart yet. They took it back to the king, and he opened it up. And then he saw, what? It's just books. What's going on here? We were expecting gold and diamonds and emeralds and rubies and so on, but look, we just got some books. So then, if I remember correctly, it was Srinivas himself. Am I right? Srinivas himself. They went out and, they were looking, but they found out that who had stolen the wagon, and it was now with the local king. So Srinivas went there and negotiated with him, not just negotiated, but he offered to do like a Krishna Katha, really do some preaching and there for the king and his associates. So he did that. And this is Srinivas Acharya. He is just a super devotee, to put it mildly. So he preached so nicely. Veer Hamveer, the king, he was just overwhelmed. And then Srinivas explained, we lost our wagon of books. Can you help us? So Veer Hamveer, he handed the wagon and all the books back. And so then they continued on. And Veer Hamveer, he became a disciple of Srinivas. Yeah, he became a devotee. He was more or less like a Gunda, sort of Gundaraj type of king. But he became a devotee. And he told everyone in the kingdom, I want you all to become Vaishnavas. All right. And they knew that when he said, all right, they had to say, yes, sir. So by his order, they all became Vaishnavas. And it became a Vaishnav, small, but Vaishnav kingdom. And it's still there to some degree, from what I understand. Somewhere, I don't even know where, but somewhere between Vrindavan and West Bengal. So, yes, they were so happy to get the books back, and they took them down. And it was announced, all the devotees found out that the books are here. And you want a copy of one of the books, you can have a copy. Of course, in those days, the devotees didn't print books en masse. Thousands at a time. If you wanted a copy of anything, you had to go to the local scribe, and you want a copy of even just say Bhagavad Gita. It's not so big, 700 verses, but to write it out by hand takes a while. So I don't know how long, maybe a week or something. You'd have to come back in a week to get your copy of Bhagavad Gita. And if you wanted a copy of Srimad Bhagavatam, you'd have to come back after some months to get a copy. That was how it worked. And it's one of the advantages of the current age, that you can get books printed very easily in large quantities. And other things too. in large quantities, Krishna conscious things. So that's what happened. And Srinivas, he was very interesting person. Hare Krishna. Suswagatam. Betiye aap. Asize. So, Srinivas, his father, can't remember the name of his father, but his father and his mother, they're a married couple, but no children were there. So what to do? So they went, when the devotees went down to Bengal to be with Lord Chaitanya and participate in the Ratha Yatra and all the other programs that went on during that period. They'd stay there for like 3 months or so, and there are all sorts of festivals and things happening. So Srinivas's father and mother, he's not born yet, they haven't had any children, but they went down and they had a meeting with Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya blessed them that yes, you can have a child and he'll be a great devotee. So particularly the husband, he was just so, meeting Lord Chaitanya face to face. Can you imagine? Well, we can't really imagine actually, but anyway, surely we can understand it was just something incredible. He became, the father, the husband, became just so overwhelmed by the association with Lord Chaitanya. He became a Chaitanya conscious madman, basically. Well, yeah. He had a name, from his childhood he had a name, of course. But now, all he'd do would be chant, Chaitanya, Chaitanya, Chaitanya. Chaitanya, Chaitanya, Chaitanya. If you asked him a question, what's your name, please? Chaitanya, Chaitanya, Chaitanya. Oh, I see. Or if you ask him, what's the time? Chaitanya, Chaitanya, Chaitanya. So he became like obsessed, totally obsessed with Lord Chaitanya after this meeting. And that's all he'd do, he'd just go around all day. Chaitanya, 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 Chaitanya. So he had a name already, but the local devotees in that area, they renamed him Chaitanya Das, because that was what he was doing. Everything was just Chaitanya, Chaitanya, Chaitanya. I remember in London when I joined 73, we had one devotee who, whatever you asked him, anything, what's the time, what day is it, and what are we doing today, and who's giving class, and what's for prasadam, and you could ask him anything, and he would just say, chant Hare Krishna. That's all he'd say. Just chant Hare Krishna. How are you feeling? Just chant Hare Krishna. Anyway, despite all that, he didn't last so long, so best to follow the regular program. But Chaitanya Das, he became known as Chaitanya Das. And shortly afterwards, he and his wife Srinivas Acharya was born to them. Yeah. And he became, such a devotee. Him and Narottam and Shamananda, but particularly Srinivas and Narottam, they became just the leaders of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas following Jiva Goswami after Jiva Goswami left this world. And yes, they studied under Jiva Goswami extensively with Shamananda, and then just carried on the tradition of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, of Lord Chaitanya, Srinivas, and Narottam. And Srinivas was kind of in a sort of senior position. Narottam, he was he was a songwriter, of course, but he was very much like a pundit, preacher. Srinivas, he was, also a bit something of an organizer. And there's a nice story. There's a really nice story that Narottam, his birthplace was in current-day Bangladesh, a place called Kaituri. And Narottam, he was born in a traditional Kshatriya family. And in fact, his brother, if I remember correctly, Sanjay or Sanjeev, do you remember? Anyways, I think Sanjay, he became the king of the area. The area is called Kaituri. So a number of things happened. So one thing that happened, Narottam had gone to Vrindavan. Srinivas was there, and what's his name? Shamananda was there, and the three of them were educated by Srila Jiva Goswami. Then they brought the books back to Bengal, and Narottam stayed, and so did Srinivas. And in fact, Narottam returned to Kaituri, and he really started a massive preaching movement in Kaituri and around the surrounding areas. And just about everybody became his disciple, including many devotees who were from traditional Brahmin families. And in those days, the caste system was strong. The whole idea of whatever you might, your family is by birth was very strong. But still these people, Narottam's preaching was just so amazing. They became his disciples. And they really surrendered to him. The leader was Ganga Narayan Chakravarti. If you know the sort of the family system, Chakravarti is high-level Brahmin. High-level Brahmin. Like Saraswat Brahmins, Rupa and Sanatan, they were born in high-level Brahmin, Saraswat Brahmin family. So Ganga Narayan Chakravarti, he was also born and raised in one of these high-level Brahmin families, but he was just so convinced by Srila Narottam Das Thakur that he just surrendered to him completely and became the leader of the disciples. And all the disciples, well, particularly the Brahmin, those from Brahmin families, they all knew Sanskrit inside and out. And they all knew Shastra inside and out. And, they were really special devotees. So there was one very interesting incident. I'm sure some of you have heard of it, maybe all of you, that there was one, what do they call him? Digvijay Pandit, who was traveling around India, which included current-day Bangladesh in those days, and many of the other countries going out to the east and to the west. So this fellow was traveling around, and with a whole gang of followers, he was riding on an elephant, and the followers would organize programs and organize debates of this Digvijay scholar with the local pundits, and he would defeat them all because he was really, very clever arguer. He knew the science of argument very well, and he'd defeat them. So he arrived in Kaituri, having heard that there is this Kshatriya, Narottam Das, and he has the nerve. He's so pretentious. He's giving initiation to Brahmins, although he's just a Kshatriya. So this was a whole thing. So he decided to come and debate with Narottam, and he was sure he'd defeat him, and, his glories would be spread throughout the three worlds. So they came. There was one main road leading into the town or the small city of Kaituri. So the word got out that this Digvijay scholar, he's on his way. This is what he wants to do. So Ganganarayan Chakravarti, from this big Brahmin background and just, highly intellectual and high-level scholar in Sanskrit and you name it, all the sort of Brahminical skills. He organized a team of Narottam's disciples who were also from Brahmin families, and they're also big scholars. So they went out to where that road entered Kaituri, and on that road, just sort of on the edge of Kaituri, there were many little shops selling fruit and this and that, and just, little shops owned by sort of little Vaishya shopkeepers, kind of, just small-time people, small-time businessmen. So Ganganarayan Chakravarti and his colleagues, they asked, because, everybody knew them, they asked the shopkeepers, would you mind if we took over your shops for a while? Whatever we sell, of course, we'll give you the money, don't worry. But, we want to greet this group that's coming in. So in came the group. The big Digvijay scholar on the elephant, and the other followers, all like kind of staunch traditional Brahmins, coming in with him. And So now it's the edge of the town now. Let's speak to someone here and find out. Where's Narottam? How do we locate Narottam? So they asked one of these, sort of, say, medium-sized scholars. He asked one of the apparently little shopkeepers in the simple local dialect for the simple common people, something like, Narottam das kaha hai, or something like that. Or I think in Bengali, kahe Narottam das. But now this little shopkeeper responded in perfect Sanskrit and explained, Narottam, where's Narottam? And then again in perfect Sanskrit, he asked, why do you want to meet Narottam? And now the other, colleague, the other followers of the big scholar, they were also gathered there. And now the other, apparently, they looked like little shopkeepers. They also gathered there and started talking to the scholars, all of them in perfect Sanskrit. And just, why do you want to meet with Narottam? Because we want to debate. Well, our leader wants to debate with him. What does he want to debate? What's his idea? So this whole, debate kind of developed there between the Brahmin disciples of Narottam and all these other, the sort of medium-level Brahmins. And Narottam's disciples totally defeated them. And these Brahmins asked, how do you know all this? Who taught you all this? And they all said, we learned from Narottam. And, wait till you meet Narottam. Wow, it's going to really be sure. You will not believe it when you meet Narottam. And the big Digvijay scholar, he heard all of this. And they reported back and, look at these are just the little shopkeepers. And the little so-called little shopkeepers who are all great pundit devotees, they told him, everybody here speaks Sanskrit. Everybody here in Kaituri knows Shastra inside and out. And they've all learnt from Narottam. So then they reported back to the Digvijay scholar, and he said, well, let's go to another place. So they turned around and left. However, that the big Vijay scholar, after a few days, hearing what had happened with all these apparently little shopkeepers, are just like simple village people, how they're just incredible scholars, and they totally smashed my main followers. He decided, I must go and meet Narottam, and he did. And he became a disciple of Narottam. And all of his other people became disciples of Narottam. And devotees. You want to hear another story, or should we take prasadam? I mean, is prasadam here, or are we waiting for it? We're waiting. Oh. We're waiting for it to be carried from the car or something.
It's right behind you, Guru.
So what should we do? Should we tell another story? Or should we just surrender to Prasad?
The prasadam is here, Gurudev.
Already?
Yes, there.
Ah. Garam hai. What's happening?
Ice cream is coming after
Oh.
half an hour.
Now you're getting serious. Let me just tell you another little story. Is that okay?
Yes.
You don't mind if the prasadam is not just blazing hot. I hope. This is one about Srinivas. You know, the two of them, they were just very close. Very close. And Srinivas, his father, you remember, Chaitanya Das? Chaitanya, Chaitanya, Chaitanya. How are you doing today? Chaitanya, Chaitanya, Chaitanya. Are you coming to the festival tonight? Chaitanya, Chaitanya, Chaitanya. So, Srinivas was born. And all he heard from his father was, what was it? Chaitanya, Chaitanya, Chaitanya. And Srinivas, you know, he's just young. But he decided, I have to meet Lord Chaitanya before he leaves this world. Because already, the, what do you call it, I don't know, Advaita Acharya had come up. No, Lord Chaitanya himself, or Advaita Acharya. Is it Advaita Acharya?
Well, I'm not sure what you're...
Oh, about the prophecy. Well, not exactly prophecy, but Lord Chaitanya is going to leave. It was Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya said, it's like esoteric and unclear, but Lord, you know, it's in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Bengali. But basically, Lord Chaitanya said, in the marketplace, well, no, everybody has become mad. Baula, I forget the Bengali. Everybody has become mad. And in the marketplace, everyone has become Baula, means a mad person. And in the marketplace, there's no more sale of chawla, which Bengali means uncooked rice. Yes, and he told Advaita Acharya that, and Advaita Acharya understood. Even though it's not clear, but it seems he's going to leave. So Srinivas heard about that, and he decided, right, I got to go to Puri and meet him before he leaves this world. So off he went, by foot, of course. And he walked and walked and walked and ran from somewhere in Bengal down, and he's entering Jagannath Puri town. And as he's just, just on the edge of the town, a small group of pilgrims coming out of the town, and they were very emotional and devastated. And he asked them, what happened? And they said, Lord Chaitanya just left this world. He just left. So Srinivas was just overwhelmed, because that was his mission. He wanted to meet Lord Chaitanya before the Lord departs, but now he's gone. So what he did, he stayed for a little while. He found Gadadhar Pandit and took shelter of him for a little while. But then he thought, wait a minute, I missed Lord Chaitanya. Let me go and take shelter of Lord Nityananda. So off he went up to, it's a town called, if I remember correctly, Kardaha. It's still there. And the place where Lord Nityananda lived is sort of still there. Yeah, that's where Lord Nityananda lived as a householder. So Srinivas, he ran back up. This is now back up practically to Navadweep. Just, maybe 50 kilometers short of Navadweep. And because, I must meet Lord Nityananda, get his mercy. As he's just entering that, I think it's Kardahar, there's a small group of pilgrims coming out, and they were just really distressed. And he asked them, what happened? And they said, you know what? Lord Nityananda just left this world. And for Srinivas, is just devastated. So what to do? I know. I should have stayed in Puri under the shelter of Gadadhar Pandit. I'm just going to go straight back there and take shelter of Gadadhar, and I'll just stay there. So again, he just ran back. And as he's entering Jagannath Puri, he met a small group, a few pilgrims. They were very distressed. And he asked them what happened. They said, you know what? Gadadhar just left this world. So, this is now too much for Srinivas. So what to do? What to do? And he thought, I know what I must do. I must go to Vrindavan and take shelter of Rupa and Sanatan. So off he went, and that's, a couple of 1,000 kilometers. It's a lot further than Navadweep. So he more or less ran back there. And now his physical condition, he's just in sort of like a hopeless physical condition. But he ran back. And he came to Mathura. Then he came to the edge of Vrindavan. And who did he meet? Take a guess. A group of devotees coming out who were very distressed. He asked, what happened? And they said, well, Rupa and Sanatan just left this world. So now this is actually too much for Srinivas. So what he did, he went to the Govinda temple, Radha Govinda temple, the old temple, and he just sort of staggered in and collapsed. That was it. He just couldn't move any further. And he felt there's no reason to live. So he's just lying there, just totally kind of unable to function physically. And one sannyasi came over, not young, but not old, kind of in the middle somewhere, and knelt down next to him and asked, what's your name? And Srinivas managed to say, I'm Srinivas. And of course all the devotees knew of Srinivas. He was famous devotee, young devotee. And Srinivas asked the sannyasi, please tell me, what is your name? And the sannyasi said, my name is Jiva Goswami. So then Srinivas took shelter of Jiva Goswami and became the first member of his school. And then Narottam came shortly after, and what's his name? Shamananda, yeah. So they all studied under Jiva Goswami. So there you go, devotees. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta was asked about this description which I just gave you. And he said, the chronology is not exactly accurate. It's not that they just disappeared, just some days or weeks. Actually, Srinivas stayed for some time in the different places and then went. and and then found out that the different personalities had departed. But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta makes the point that the record in principle is correct, and this is actually what happened with Srinivasacharya. Hare Krishna. Srila Srinivasacharya ke, Srila Narottam Das Thakur ke, Srila Prabhupada ke, Mahaprasadam ke. Haribol.
Hare
Krishna.
Jai.